Right. You're gonna have to excuse me for the sound quality because I'm using some shitty USB microphone headset thingy. But anyway, uh, you need GGD and you need the output folders of the LDAR tool. And yeah, so this is how I work. First off, you wanna check something out. So let's say I wanna check, you need to go to the agenda channel so you know what you're doing. Uh, I wanna look at the files of Mushroom Village area 09. So I go to the LDAR 09 and I want to go to the mushroom forest. Yeah, so section 0 and I go to entry 0. Yeah, here are the files that the LDAR files have explained to the game to decompress and load into the RAM. There are collision files, model files, asset placement data files, sprite files, the still unknown 4 files, the buffer and the VRAM and the shards. The shards are the things that you kind of like paste into the VRAM. Let's look at those in a minute. So it was LDR09 entry 0. So open up GGD and file open. It's all in Japanese, but it's self-explanatory really. So file open, desktop, LDAR tool 9 0. Let's look at the shards first. So 0 0 0 0 open. Looks like a mixed mash of nothing, so push the right key on your keypad. Right, 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 right. As you can see, the image width goes bigger, accumulates, gets larger, whatever the word is. But it goes in increments of 4, 256, 260. So you want to set that to 8 by pushing the W key on your keyboard. That changed. So now when you push right, you get in increments of 8. And eventually you should hit a wall. I keep pushing, but nothing happens because the window size, or actually the screen size, is 640 480. So now you gotta hold Shift and push right. Shift, right, right, right. Shift, right. And as you can see, the screen size goes bigger. My computer screen's width is to 1020 to 1280, whatever it is. So this is as far as I go. And now just keep pushing right again. That looks right, almost. My pixel per bit is 8, so push the B key on your keyboard. 16, 24, 32, 1, 4. 4 is right. Tomba graphics are mostly 4 bits per pixel. So push right again. Right, 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 right. Shift right again. You can see this value getting bigger, but my screen size is not big enough, so that should do the trick. And right again. Much better. So here's our graphics. You can also push down key, nothing happens, but the canvas do get bigger or smaller if you push up. Up, 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 up. Right. So let's keep it as 400, I don't know. And the palette is here, but it's wrong. So we're gonna go to File, P, Import Palette, or CLUT, CLUT, whatever you want to call it. Usually the last shard is always the palette file. So open that up. Yeah, it's right. So here are the colors. Right now, the data offset where I'm reading the graphics from is 0. But if I push page down, I increment it by 8 pixels in the y-axis. If I push the S key, you can see it changing to smaller increments, like 1 byte, 2 bytes. If I now push page down, it moves 2 bytes forward. The same applies here in the color palette window. So if you push S while the focus is here, the palette shift mode is 1 byte, 1 palette, 16 palettes, 256 palettes, and 64 kilobytes. You want to keep it at 16 palettes, so you skip page down 1 palette at a time. Yeah, looks good. I wonder if I'll ever find the correct palette here. There it is. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, and there's the bonsai and there's the flowers. Yeah, looks pretty good. And if I want to open another shard, I'll just open this one. The width is wrong, so again push left and wait until it's right. Yeah, that's good. The palette file still stays the same. As you can see, the data file is 01 and palette file is 04. So you gotta change it if you wanna take another palette for these graphics. But like I said, these are the shards that get pasted into the VRAM, which is the 1 megabyte of. This is just residue. Don't worry about it. It's a GGD thing. But yeah, you wanna if you wanna see what's loaded in the VRAM of a given area, you go to the forget the shards folder and go into the ldar whatever .vram. Don't worry about the buff file. I'll get to it later. But I just open the VRAM and open. It looks like this because the PlayStation 1 VRAM is actually pretty huge. So you wanna put the screen size into the maximum 4096 and just keep pushing right. This will take a minute, but sadly, the largest increment you can take is the 8 pixels, so this will take some time. Almost there. Right, so this is the VRAM that is in Area 9, Section 0. This is the VRAM page 0. There's nothing there now, but in-game Tomba would appear here and the text would appear here. These are the textures. Oh, we've got a wrong height. So push shift down to 512 and then push down to 512. These are the color lookup tables, but you don't actually want to read these. You want to keep the 0004 or the last shard in the palette window, because if you want to go and read these, you will have a bad time. So yeah, this is the VRAM of the mushroom forest. There's the slab, there's a AP box, some walls, some mushrooms, and a barren, some flowers, some textures, and some sprites. Usually the sprites are in the left side of the VRAM. Some textures again. And you can just scour through the palettes. If you want to take larger steps, push the S key and look at that. 256 pellets, it goes like one page at a time, so to speak. Looks like we misaligned there a bit, so you gotta go and fix it to one pallet. This is the right one. Yeah. Using this method, you can go and view the VRAMs of several, well, all the VRAMs that the game's LDAR files tell the game to load. So this is a good spot to, this is a good method to find things that are loaded into the VRAM but not necessarily seen in game. Let's try another one. Area 18, Section 1, the Y crossing. Area 18, Section 1. Take the VRAM and take the correct palette file. Not much here. There's this dude and that dude and the door texture for the Y crossing thing and some NPCs and some textures, background elements, whatever. Actually, I don't remember these dudes. I don't remember this guy. Maybe if I can find. This is the right palette for this guy. And so hard to tell. Maybe it's this one. No. Yeah, it could be this one. Hey, what do you know? We just found an unused NPC. Great. I wonder what that is. Of course, the textures have their right color lookup tables in the model dumps in the textures folder. So if you wanna look at those instead, be my guest. But yeah, that's how to view and scavenge unused graphics from the VRAM or the shards. I'm gonna post this. What about the other files? There's the APD, the asset placement data. So if we open that in a hex editor and adjust the screen size a bit. In my hex editor, the zeros are these empty spaces, so don't worry about those. So, oh, that's weird. I can't read this. Let's take the Masakari jungle. Agenda. Deep jungle. Masakari jungle. All tree hill. 10, 2. 10, 2. APD. Which one was it? I think it was this one. Yeah, this looks better. So the APD, I think this is the little Indian word for, which is 6, by the way, for the asset to place. This is unknown. This is the Z coordinate. It's assigned one. So 280. This is the Y coordinate, minus 200. And this is the X coordinate, 1820. X, Y, C, asset 0, something A0, 100. These are unknown. So make of that what you will. And if the SPR files, we haven't figured out those yet. The collision files, well, reading them in a hex editor isn't much help because you kind of need some kind of viewer to make any sense of those. What else? What else? Well, also there's the WFM files for text and all kinds of things related to text and dialogue. And then there's the sequence files. I think actually these aren't music, but this is the victory theme. And You're Dead theme or whatever. RLE is tomba or cockabird graphics, I think. I don't know why they're stored in a different format. What else? What else? Yeah, the RAM thing. So if you open up no cache PSX and your ROM, and I always forgot the debug mode address. Did you know Tomba? One F, yeah. You have to watch the intro, and then I like to keep it like this. So yeah, go to the address, click here and push Ctrl G, address position to $1F800, 1F800, 1B4. Okay, and then type a 1 here so it becomes 10 or hex 10. Then when you push a new game, you can select your area. I want to go to 18, 1, no, let's take that 10 and 2, 3. Looking good. So yeah, let's modify the items. Yeah, I've got blackjack and normal pants right now, but let's check out 9C60C. So Control G, 9C60C. How many items do I have in my inventory? 2. I want to set it to 255. And this modifies the array here. A list of items 9C50C. From here, exactly this amount of bytes are now my inventory. It was 2 before, so it only read this and this, but now that it's 255, you can see we've got a lot of chicks because the chick is item ID 0. So let's modify them into something better. 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A, B, C, D, E, F. That looks good. So now if I check my inventory, I've got the blackjack, normal pants, chick, so 1B, 20, 0. Frog, lost dwarf, bananas, 1, 2, 3, and it goes on and on. These are the objects bytes. You can go all the way to FF, which is here. Actually, you have to start here, 0, 1, 2, 3, so FF fits here. But I digress. What do I want to do? Huh, can't use parent. I don't know what I'm doing. But this is how you edit the memory live. One thing you could edit was, I don't know if we ever wrote that down, actually. I can't remember the RAM address for the camera bounds. I think it was something like camera X. Was it this? I think Mr. Lover made a typo here. He was supposed to write 80 here. Let's see. Control G. 80A38 E4. I'm only writing 8 there because I think Mr. Lover made a typo, so let's go there. Right, here they are. Minimum camera X, these 2 bytes, or this word if you will, and maximum camera bounds X. This is the Y. But what do these numbers mean? We gotta do some conversion. They're all signed values, so let's make a new hex editor document and write these down. A000 and C800 and 1AFF and 88FF. So signed integer little endian decimal. The X bounds for this room are 160 minimum X, 200 maximum X, minus 230 minimum Y, and 100 minus 120 is the maximum Y. So we want to max these out. The largest value you can, well, actually the smallest value you can set is minus 300 and 3,200. Was it that one? Yeah. And the maximum is 32. Yeah. And the same ones obviously go here. So let's try. 0080 FF7F 0080 FF7F. Let's try. Oh man, I don't want to talk to you. Or do I? Let me go. Oh, jeez. Well, let's try again in the village of all beginnings. So here, 0080 FF7F 0080 FF7F. Now the camera bounds have been modified. And if you go here, you will see that it's true. I mean, I can't access there, but the camera goes on and on forever. And the same goes for the 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 X and Y. So if I go to the very beginning, oh, there's the guy. Yeah, yeah. What now? Well, the game froze. That's just peachy. But yeah, let's say I wanted to find some values. Unfortunately, there's no Control F here, so you gotta go to the beginning of the RAM or memory or whatever and go to utility binary dump binary dump to bin file, I think. Yeah. Number of bytes to dump 100,000. I think that's enough. It's not, but let's just put some value there. And desktop test dump save. It'll take a minute. But now I have 100,000 bytes from the current memory dumped here. So let's open that in a hex editor. Yeah, looks good. So let's say I wanted to find where in the RAM there's, say, the dialog data. So I write WFM. Well, what do you know? There are WFM3 headers at the address CF5CF. CF5CF. So if I now were to go Control G, 5F5CF. Was it that? 5F5CF. Jeez. CF5CF. Yeah, there it is. WFM3. So this is the text data. You could edit it live here, but that's probably not very wise. What else? What else? Of course, the no cache PSX has a nice VRAM viewer. So if you wanted to find more information about, say, oh, I better pause this. I don't even know what I'm looking for. This pig. Well, this alone isn't very much information, but if you needed a starting point to know where to start looking for things in the files, you could always check out these bytes and try searching for any of the rows. I don't know. This is the mode byte 2D, which is the textured quad. I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for. But yeah, that's how I work. What else? What else? I don't know. I'll be uploading the output of the LDAR tool and leave the link to the GGD somewhere. So yeah, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. This is probably much larger of a video I envisioned, but Jesus.